So, it's 2026, and as change is imminent, it's only fair that we be the change we want to see. And with that being said, here are 25 bookish things I would like us to leave in 2025. Hi, welcome back. My name is Anna, and we're just going to jump right into these 25 things. Now, I do want to start off with a little bit of disclaimer. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. These are just bookish things I want to leave in 2025. And some of them might be a little bit of a hot take, but they're called opinions for a reason, right? I'm not stating these as facts, and I don't want to start off strong, but we have the tendency to take everything personal in life, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. So I have my notebook here with my list, and we're just going to go off my list just so I can keep a track of myself and I also don't get sidetracked. So the first thing I want to talk about is overconsumption. And when I say I want to leave this in 2025, I'm more talking we as a society need to leave this in 2025. Now, it's not just about buying books, it's buying a book. So you have like a Kindle. Why do you need 4 Kindles or 5 Kindles and 6 Kindles and 7 Kindles? Why do you need 7 of the same exact book? Why do you need a bunch of other bookish things that can only fall under one category? Overconsumption. And we're just going to leave it there. I want to leave that in 2025. I don't even know why this is on my list because it's on my list because I'm guilty too. I have a bunch of books that I've had for like 2-3 years and I haven't read. So guilty. So cartoon covers. For kids' books, cartoon covers are fine. But why are you trying to sell? I'm 28, by the way. Why are you trying to sell me a 28-year-old? Mind you, it's marketed for adults, so it's not even marketed as YA. Why are we? Can we leave the cartoon covers in 2025, please? At this point, I don't really read romance, and I'm glad that these cartoon covers have stayed specifically for romance. But you know, what happens when the fantasy people decide that these have been performing so well in the romance genre that they try to bring them over into the fantasy realm? You see where we'll have a problem? Please leave that in 2025. And this is not about readers. This is marketing team. Like, I'm not the only one complaining. Can we just leave those in 2025? Now, moving along. Also, I think I need to quickly do this so I can get my glasses on because since the car crash, my eyes, I'm like really blind. Okay, so we're gonna do book shaming, and I'm talking like, could we stop shaming people for the type of books they read? Like, I, I don't, I don't like dark romance. I don't read dark romance, but whenever someone says they read dark romance, I don't shame them. I'm primarily a fantasy girl. I've always been a fantasy girl since I was a kid. This is not some new me. Some of my favorite books are fantasy. I primarily like to read physical books because I like the smell of books. But at midnight, no one wants to be holding up a book in their face in the dark. So sometimes I read Kindle, sometimes I read audiobook. Why are we shaming people for the way they consume books? Can we just leave that in 2025, please? Move it along. So, this one's a little bit touchy and it's setting unrealistic reading goals. Now, last year I set a reading goal. I said I wanted to read 100 books. I read 19 and that's fine. And I kind of knew I wasn't going to read 100 books, but I saw everyone saying they want to read 100 books, they want to read 175. And I'm like, I can do that too. And so I think this year we should be a little bit more easy on ourselves and be like, This year my reading goal is 60 because I'm like, that's feasible. If I read like one book a week, then, or if I read one and a half book a week, I could get to 60 books. Mind you, it's January 20. Let me see. It's January 26 now, and I think that's almost 4 weeks. So by that calculation, I should have read 4 books. I've barely read one book, so I think at some point I might have to drop that number down to 50. You see what I'm saying? Who At this point, I think by next year I'm just gonna not set any goals, or maybe I should not set any goals this year. See what I'm saying? We don't need to be setting these unrealistic goals. At the same time, if someone says they can read 100 books, then why are you fighting them? Just if they can read 100 books, they can read 100 books. Okay? I think we need to stop reading only books that are popular on TikTok, because I don't like. I was watching a video before I started doing this with this guy saying that, if everybody keeps promoting the same books, then publishers are going to think everybody likes that stuff. And it's not even about the publishers. I just believe that there comes a time when you just have, as a reader, you have to branch out and find yourself. Especially if you're new to reading, I don't suggest that you stay only on TikTok, because you're only going to be seeing the same 100 books. And I can take a book off my shelf right now that I can guarantee I've never seen on TikTok. I can pull a book off my shelf and I can guarantee I've never seen anybody talking about it on TikTok. That's all I'm saying. I can pull multiple books off my shelf. Okay, we're gonna do this one as a test. Okay, this is The Torque Man by Peter Mann. Now let me know in the comments down below if you've ever seen this book on TikTok. Mind you, I've never read it, but that's not the point. All I'm saying is that we can't only want to read the books that are on TikTok. That's all I'm saying. At some point, I do plan to read that because I like the concept about it. It's one of those books about someone finding a manuscript. Life happened and I just didn't got around to reading it. And now I think I definitely have to read it because I mentioned it. I also, when I started reading again, because I stopped for a while, I didn't really stop reading, but I wasn't like reading like as a hobby. I was just reading casually. But when I got back into reading, one of the things I was afraid of doing, because I never used to do it as a kid, is DNFing books. So I believe that in 2026 we should stop forcing ourselves to finish books. If you don't like it, I could show you. There's this popular book, King of Rat. I started reading the book. I couldn't get past 100, page 112. That's how I knew. You see, I remember what page I'm at because I do that stuff. I got to page 112 and was like, not for me. It's somewhere right here on this shelf. It's on there it is right here. I plan to give it away, but a part of me been wanting to finish it, but I just can't. And so I'm going to take my own advice. Stop forcing yourself to finish book. There's like 24 hours in the day, X amount of hours in the week, yada, yada, yada. You're not enjoying a book, you just DNF and move along. Now, I can barely see the words that I've written, especially under all this light. So forgive me if I keep looking away. So as humans, it is, it's in our natures to compare ourselves to each other. And one of the biggest things I see especially on TikTok, under the book talk community, is this constant comparison about who can read the fastest. When I was like 15 when I was like 15 to 18, I could read 100 page in an hour. I could read a 400-page book in 4 hours. Now I'm 28, and the most pages I can read, because I've timed myself now because I do that word stuff, is 33 pages. And one of the reasons why is I like to read in bed. And when I see too many words jumping at me, my eyes, they get real sleepy. So, but I have faith in myself. I could probably go to 50 if I'm not sleepy. As I have the time, as soon as I start reading a few pages, I get really sleepy. So all I'm saying is that if someone can read 100 page, it's fine. Don't compare yourself. Read at your own pace. It's not a reading is not a competition. I was like, if they start reading I would sign up. But reading at this moment is not a it's not a competition. We don't need to compete. You read your 50 page, I read my 30 page, you read your 100 page, and you can finish the book in 2 weeks. I could finish the book in one day. It's all about our time and availability at the end of the day. Can we stop promoting the same books, please? It's like I touched on this earlier. It's like every time I go on TikTok, I'm seeing like the same 100 books, same 100 books, same 100 books, same 100 books. It's like all these shadow daddies, a Qatar, another one. Like I said earlier, find me someone on TikTok who has talked about the Turkmen, and then I'll shut up. That's all I'm saying. Spoiler alerts. Can we like? There are so many books I want to read. So many books I've been wanting to read, and I go on TikTok and there's some girl or some guy. No, no, no spoiler alert on the video, nothing. It's like, or you see a video. One of the, or you'll see it's always a page of, or it'll say like a page, biggest plot twist, and so and so. And before you can catch yourself or stop yourself, the entire book is spoiled. So in 2026, can we put, I think I'm owed a disclaimer. That's probably one of the reasons, if I'm being honest, why I don't really buy a lot of BookTok books. Because why am I gonna, by the time everyone done hypes up this book, someone done spill. Okay, it's like, let me, like Fort Wing. For the longest while, I did not want to read Fort Wing because people kept saying there was a bunch of smut in Fort Wing. And I was like, the way people were talking about Fort Wing, I was like, I'm not gonna sit down and read a book about just sex. That's crazy. And then I was like, let me just take one for the team for the Dragons. And so I bought the book and I read it for myself. And I'm like, I don't even remember if there's smut in the book. I really don't. Because I was just reading for the Dragons for me. But I've been known about the popular dragon scene. Fort Wing, the one I'm talking about. Everyone, all I'm saying, can we just put out the spoiler alerts, please? There's this thing that I've noticed people have said or done online is where they'll give a book a bad review simply because they hate the author. And I get that we can't always separate the art from the artist, but sometimes we can. I'm trying to find an author that I hate. I don't. I don't like romance, and I especially don't like the way Emily Henry writes, but I loved Happy Place. I didn't really like People We Meet on Vacation. You see what I'm saying? Happy Place was a 5-star for me because of it's just the way it was. It had this whole friendship thing that I like in books, and I didn't really like People We Meet on Vacation. I don't know Emily Henry personally. I have nothing against her. But you have these people online who, when they hate an author, they will give it, they don't care what book, they don't care how good the book is, they'll give the book a negative review simply for the sake of hating the author. And art is objective and we are entitled to our own opinion, but at the same time, I believe that while we can't always there are these instances where we can't separate the art from the artist, but there are instances where we can, and in those instances where we can, I just think we should. Now, similar to the last one, we should also stop giving 5 stars because we like authors. No, I liked I like Rebecca Ross. I love Divine Rebel. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I gave Divine Rebels a 5, and um I gave Vows a 4.5. It's like I just believe that. Stop giving 5 stars because they're arcs or because some publishing company send you or some author send you. Like, if you're gonna review a book, I just believe that your review should be honest and it should be about the art, unless the artist has directly imprinted themselves in the art. Unless when you see the art and the artist, you're like, yeah, they don't look different to me. Just rate the art. That's all I'm saying. Also, can we end the parasocial relationship between readers and authors? It's like I don't follow I follow like a few authors, but not to the to the point where if someone says something about them, I'm in their comments. It's like at this point, y'all are becoming like the Swifties, and I don't like it. It's like someone will leave a bad review, and you people will find them and be like, "How dare you leave a bad review?" And Rebecca Ross's excuse me, excuse me, like or someone. My kid just stopped by to tell me she loved me, so I'm gonna have to get back in character. Like I'm saying, can we just stop the parasocial relationships? It's like some of you are acting like you see, if you know these authors person, like you were high school friends, I could get it, but you don't. And it's a little bit weird when I go online and I see someone personal defending an author and no one asked you. Like, I can only imagine, like, I am an author and someone was online defending me and I'm like at home saying to my mom, do you know? Some girl posts something about my book and this other girl is out here cursing that girl. Do you think I would find it weird? That's all I'm saying. Like at this point, some of these authors need to get like security because you're like one post away from becoming stalkers at this point, in my opinion. All I'm saying. Can we start supporting our local libraries? It's like, go in, you get a library card, you borrow a book or two. Also, what I like about the libraries is that you'll discover a lot of books that aren't on TikTok. I can show you a book that I discovered at my library. I didn't really discover it, but the librarian recommended to me. There's a lot of books that are at the library. Like I got the Outlander series from my library. Like, did you know the Outlander is based on books? My library had those books. My library has a lot of Daniel Steele. If you like, you know what I liked reading growing up as a kid? I loved what's his name? Not Stephen King, the other one, James Patterson. People say he's so, but I grew up reading a lot of James Patterson. My library has a lot of those. My library also had Twilight. Like Twilight is kind of popular, so I don't like. Just can we just start supporting local libraries? It's like the more people support the libraries, the more funding they get. And at this point, with how they're trying to ban books, I believe that sometimes, you see all those books that you buy and you don't want, you can just go donate them to your local library. So all I'm saying, like, also depend on how your library is or if it's private funded. If you go there and you say, hey, do you have this book? They'll put it on their buy list, and they'll let you know when they get it. Like my library, my local library continuously, like I'll go there and say, hey, do you have this book? And they'll be like, no, but if you tell us, we'll order it when we're ordering books. And they'll order the book and they'll let you know. And so I just believe that in 2026, we should have no excuse not to be reading. It shouldn't be, oh, I can't afford books. You support your local libraries. Yeah. Also, I don't have any I don't have any sisters, but this is one of the reasons why I stopped reading Colleen Hoover. Like, can we stop romanticizing abuse or domestic violence? And I'm not talking about dark romance, like If you've been reading some of the books that I've been publishing, Colin Hoover's on her third movie, I think, with these books. Mm, mm. All I'm saying is like, we have so much young girls and young minds or young guys. It's not even just about girls. I'm a girl, so I'm just saying young girls. We have so many youth, teenagers coming up who are probably just understanding what it is to love someone or to love themselves or to be in a relationship. And the way I was reading all sort of book in high school. So don't even think that because it's more. I read 50 Shades of Grey. I've been saying I read it when I was 17. I come to find out I read the books 2 years before they became a movie. So I read it at 15. That's 13 years ago. At 15, I was reading 50 Shades of Grey and a bunch of other books. And all I'm saying is this: stop romanticizing abuse. Just call it what it is. It's a toxic relationship, and you don't want young kids thinking that it's okay. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I don't even want to say too much. Miscommunication is like now I think miscommunication needs to be like a trope. You know how they talk about enemies to lovers? I think they need to start putting that as a trope so I'll know to stay away from those books because using miscommunication as an entire plot, no, can we not do that in 2026? Thank you. Okay, to all of you out there who like to say audiobooks and people who listen to audiobooks are not readers, can you go? I won't even say, I'm just trying to be polite. Okay, there's opinions and there's facts. Now, audiobooks are not physical books. You can just look at audiobooks as music. When you listen to music, don't it get goes to your brain? Right, you could read the lyrics too if you want to go and do that on your own. You could try to sing a cappella or whatever you want to do. But in the 21st century where people have various disabilities, for you to say that audiobook listeners are not readers, I don't know how I'm not on to all the sayings, but I would say that that kind of makes you tone deaf and very out of touch, inconsiderate of other people who for various reasons cannot read. And it doesn't necessarily, I think that some of the people who say audiobook readers listeners are not readers are the people who are kind of upset that through audiobooks people are able to consume books. And since these people who are saying these are not readers, they have nothing else to do, they're complaining. You could go listen to audiobook too. Because here's the thing that I don't get. And someone might say, oh, it's not the same as listening to music. Have you, okay, better one. Have you never turned on your TV? You're in the kitchen, the TV's on in the living room, and you have your back turned. Right. Have you never done that? What about, have you never like turned on true crime? How about like the game show? You listen to the radio, right? At some point, because like, if you've never listened to the radio, one of the weirdest things I did as a kid, I downloaded Blue Lagoon. The first time I watched Blue Lagoon, I didn't even watch it. I downloaded Blue Lagoon on my MP3 and I listened to Blue Lagoon. I think some of these people have no maladaptive dreaming and that's why they're jealous. I think it was 1 hour and some 43 minutes or something. I listened to Blue Lagoon. I was in high school, by the way. I did a bunch of shit in high school. I listened to and like literally I was picturing everything. When I finally became out and I watched Blue Lagoon, I was like, this is what I saw. It's like I just think you're jealous and I think you're just jealous. And as a matter of fact, why do you even care that people listen to audiobooks? Aren't you busy reading physical books? Okay. Can we bring back standalones? It's like I'm currently in the middle of 53 series. And when I say 53 series, I don't actually mean 53. It's just a hyperbole. I'm in the middle of so many series. Half of them, I don't even think I'm gonna finish. Like, I just want one good fantasy book. Like, at this point, if you give me a really good 500-page fantasy book, I would read it. I was doing that in high school. You give me one, like a really good 500-page fantasy book, and I'll read that shit. 700 pages, it all depends. It all depends. There's this book, Orange of the Pile. I don't remember that. I'm gonna insert the picture right here. I started reading that. It was just too much for me. Like, first 200 pages was just, ugh. I was like, no, and the names. But if you give me a good, except that one book that I mentioned, you give me a good standalone 500-page fantasy book, world building, everything, no miscommunication, a little bit of romance, but it doesn't like deviate from the plot. It's like badass female. Give me a real badass, no little fragile. Oh, I'm afraid to break my. A real badass female. As a matter of fact, if you know any books like that, leave them down in the comments below. Thank you. I'm gonna eat it up. But when you have a 500-page book one, and then you want to do that again for book two and book three, at this point, I'm not even reading. So you want to DNF a book? Fine. Can you tell me why are we leaving reviews for books that we've DNF? Like, I could be wrong, but if you know why people are leaving reviews for books, like I'll be there reading the reviews, and then at the bottom I say, "Oh, and I DNF." You didn't even DNF at the last chapters. Like for the longest while, I watched the originals, but I knew how the last episode was gonna end, and for the longest while, I didn't want to watch the last episode, and so for the longest while, I didn't, and then I finally did. Right? You people are leaving, you people are DNFing books, leaving reviews, and you were just two chapters in? Why? Why were you guys doing that? Can we? It's like I like to leave, like whenever I'm gonna leave a review, I like to read reviews sometimes, or sometimes I find a book and I'm like, I'll go read the reviews, and I'm there reading the reviews. I'm like, oh, this makes sense. And then I get to, and it's like, oh, by the way, I DNF'd. I could have put this under overconsumption, but I didn't because this needs a whole slot for itself. Why are we buying special editions of books that we haven't even read? I don't know. I think we're going through this FOMO culture right now as readers where we're so afraid of missing out that we just think we have to gobble up all the books. I get getting a special edition for a book that you like. I would get myself a special edition of Percy Jackson. Love Percy Jackson. I'd get myself special edition of Rebecca Ross, Divine Rivals, and Rootless Vows. I love those. But you're getting special editions of books. I'll get a special edition of Belladonna. Really love Belladonna. I'll get special edition of Me Before You. You're getting a special edition of books that you haven't even read. Like I don't know what we're doing as a society and as a people. And like I know a bunch of people like to say, "Oh, but why do you care if people want to do with their money?" I guess someone need to teach some of you about supply and demand, right? That's the reason why they can sell a book for like $30 and you people are still buying it. And they're going to keep hiking up the price of books because there's a demand. And I'll always be supporting my library and the dollar store. It's rare when I really go out of my way to buy. And I support local bookstores too, thrift stores. You take me to Savers, I'll get me myself some books. Like buying a book for $30? And that's like a normal book. We're not talking about special editions here. So like you guys are out here buying special edition and never read a book from the author. Never. And like your adults, I can't tell you what to do, but can we like, you know, and then when it's time to support like small sub self-published authors, y'all don't have any money. So I was looking back and I realized that I missed two from earlier on. And so one of them that I miss is, can we stop normalizing the harassment of readers and authors? And I think I kind of touched on this like a little bit, but I do when I mention parasocial relationships. But sometimes a reader will like make a video talking about a book by an author or something, and then everyone will just be in the comments attacking them, either saying that their take on the book. Like whenever people try to talk bad about like any popular book right now, readers will like kind of bash them, and then you have some authors who for some reason they don't like the criticism. Like there are spaces for authors and there's space for readers, and I don't believe that authors and readers I believe that authors and readers should be able to coexist. But at the same time, I believe that they should be able to coexist in a way where readers are not attacking authors, and then readers are not attacking readers, and then authors are not attacking readers. And I just believe that is something that I've seen a lot of this in 2025, and I just believe that this can be left in 2025. Like we don't need to bring that over into 2026. There's also, as someone who is, I'm not actively working on my book, but I was. But as someone who wants to be a author at some point, I haven't decided whether I'm taking the self pub or the traditional route. But there's this big comparison or this big thing that self pub books are trash or self published books or this. But a lot of popular book talk books or a lot of popular books that you like now, they were once self published. And I just believe that it does. You cannot ever compare like a self-published book to a traditional published book. I'm not talking about the writing. I'm just talking about everything that goes into the production of the book. As someone who knows a lot about self-publishing, as an author, you have to create your own cover when you're self-published. You have to find your own editor. You have to do all that stuff. While with traditional publishing, you have a team doing that for you. So the production or the final product in terms of the exterior, traditional publish might be a lot better. It doesn't mean that the writing that's inside the book is any less because it was self-published versus traditionally published. That's all I'm saying. Like, I hate when I hear people online say, "Oh, I don't read indie books because they're trash." And I don't know if a lot of you know that behind that indie author, like behind that quote unquote trash in the book is an actual person who put their heart and soul, and it was just them. They were probably the editor. They were probably the one designing the cover. And I just believe that it's like you're judging all indie books and you've never read. It's not like you've read and you could say, okay, I've read a few and it's a grammar. If you're one of my best book of 2023 was the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. Love that. The editing was probably shit. The writing was probably shit, but the storyline, those 120 pages books, I was eating them up. And if you've read that book, you know what I'm talking about. So All I'm saying is that you can't be judging self-pub's book based on, oh, you're believe that they're trash because you know what? I'm speechless at this point. I'm moving along. Can we leave all the a dash of dash and dash? Can we leave all the a dash of dash and dash in 2025? It's like sometimes I'll go and I'll say I'm looking at a new book to read and I see a coat of red and blue and I'm like, okay. Then I'll see another one, a house of wood and water. And I was like, okay, okay. You see, to me, I don't know what's wrong with my eyes, but half the time, all of those books look the same to me. I'm just saying, and because of that, the only one that I still want to read, and it's a series, it's a Song of Fire and Ice. Like that's the original. Like anything after that, it's just no, no, and also no. I'm down to my last three, I think. Now in 2026, can we please start taking responsibility for our reading action? Don't go online and take a book talk recommendation, Instagram recommendation, booktube recommendation. You go read that book, you find out the book is trash, and then come back online and blame everybody because you read a bad book. What you read in your own free time is on you. Why are we being blamed? Because you got the recommendation, you could have done your own due diligence, could have done your own research. And I don't want to hear, oh, I trust, I tr-. Like, if you trusted the person that was recommending the book to you, why are you mad now? It's not making any sense, Bridget. You're looking someone to blame, and I refuse to let any of you blame it. I recommend a book to you. I always say, I like it. You read the book. At no point were you halfway through, you're like, no, this is probably not for me. You read that book. And then you come online and you're like, and then a few days later, we see you again as if you haven't learned. There's a whole set of people on the internet who hate readers. And I don't know why people hate people for reading. And then I know some of them has been labeled as being performative readers or whatever the hell. It's like, and all I keep saying to myself is, why do you care? You see, I have a kid who likes to read, and when I tell her to read, she'll be reading and watching YouTube. And as a parent, I'll be like, I don't think she should read with her phone or read while watching the TV. And then I realized that I read and listen to music. I listen to audiobooks while I cook. Like, the question is she reading? Is she consuming the words that are on the page? And if the answer to that is yes, why do I care what else she does while she's reading? That's what I'm saying. Like, if people are reading books, why does it matter if it's performative or not performative, or if they're only doing it, because they want to attract a certain crowd? Why should it matter? That's all I'm saying. And lastly, this is to all of you people who only read classics and self-help books. Can we stop telling people that they only need to read for productivity? If you, Bridget, want to read for productivity, be my guest. I read for pleasure. I've always read for pleasure. Now, no, 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 no. productivity is not the only reason for reading. And anybody who wants to read for productivity, that's their business. It's 2026. Can we stop telling readers what to do? Unless they're over consuming. Unless they're buying a bunch of books for no reason. Like, everything else is free. Everything else, just leave readers alone. Let readers be readers. You go find a book to read if you don't like listening to book. You go find something to do if you realize that you don't really like reading. Like, if you see a reader being performative, if you were reading your book, you would never notice that they were performing. Like, that's what we all just need to be a little bit more mindful of our own business and concern ourselves less with what people want to do in their free time. Right? Like, you have 24 hours of your day. Do you really want to take any time from your 24 hours to be worrying about what other people may or may not be doing that you don't know? Like, anyways, I think I got a little bit too saucy. Some of these were a little bit more of hot takes. And if you agree or disagree with any of these, let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you want to leave any of your hot takes, I'll be leaving a post on my Instagram, I also have a link to down below. And if I do remember in editing, I'll put it up on the screen. Now, thank you so much for watching my little rant. Have a wonderful year, month, week, day, hour, minute, second. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.